Hey everybody, oh, I got a cable right in my. There we go. How's everybody doing?
Howdy doody. So we were a little late, and that made us all discombobulated
Just a
and
little
stuff.
bit, yeah, but we're fine now. We're here.
Present and accounted for.
I think it was like 2 minutes late, maybe three.
Maybe two.
How's everybody doing tonight? We hope y'all are doing well. Oh, by the way, we've adjusted some latency because we noticed on playback that the music wasn't really in time with our fingers. And so we've adjusted that. So we're hoping that looks good. We hope it hasn't messed up the camera mic, the cameras that are on us while we're talking, though, because those were fine. And so we're hoping that didn't screw anything up. So let us know. But yes, thank you for coming. We're Atomic Annie. That's Mal. I'm Tavian. And we're back. We're here every Thursday at 10 Eastern, 9 Central, 7 Pacific. And we're going to play a couple more songs for you. Well, songs. They don't really have words. But
Yeah. Peace.
yes.
Couple more pieces.
Work. Cut.
Rockstar Late, says Disco Daphne. Thank you kindly. Yes, Charlie Studios made a Gomer Pyle art for us.
One of the funniest things I've seen.
and,
Cracked me up.
Where
I've
we
been
can
laughing and
upload
laughing.
GIFs, we did. Yeah, very, very funny stuff. Thank you very much for that. But also, he made the art. He actually let me
Yeah.
know that he took some footage while he was up in a plane, and then did some overlayers and filtering and such. What?
Oh, Ghost Pepper has a GIF of a bouncing head of lettuce, and it says, "Let us know."
Oh man, that one's rough there, Ghost. Oof.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
Good times, good times. Yeah, I like that old tune. I say old.
Yeah, that was from third show of year 4.
Yeah, so it would have been June-ish, July, actually.
The next one we've got comes from way back. This took a little bit of doing to get.
Was a request
Yes.
by Miss Scarlett, who's also made much art for us, and we're grateful to her for it. Yeah, Scarlett requested it. It was, she says it's her favorite. So I went ahead and learned some of what I did guitar-wise back then. It cannot be a note for note because we're just not that kind of act. Can be a note for note, but we need to blow up and have 10,000 subscribers. So we do that, and then you will see me note for noting things. Well, you know,
we'll be able to devote the time to it.
yeah, we'd be able to. Would be fantastic. So share us out there. Looking to grow best we can. Thank you all for coming to the show. I saw a tip go by. Subpack Vet, I believe it was.
Oh, thank
you
you
kindly for the tip, brother. And if you like what y'all are hearing, please drop a buck in the kitty, man.
Yeah, we'd appreciate that.
Indeed, indeed. Also, the way to tip us that will cost the least amount of monies, although we are happy to let any of you tip anywhere you may want to support, of course, but that would be subscribestar.com/Atomic Annie tip. Right?
No, well, you just said subscribe star instead of.
Oh, excuse me.
Yes. You got it all manner wrong. It's
Okay, this is why Tavian does this.
Streamlabs.com/Atomic Annie Music /tip.
That's the one.
Yes, Streamlabs. They only take 3%, I think it is. But yeah, streamlabs.com/Atomic Annie Music /tip. And that actually appears on screen too when you tip through Streamlabs. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, got the animation.
And if you'd like to purchase any of our, because all of this gets recorded and remixed and pared down to a shorter track, and then that gets released, and all of our finished works are on Bandcamp, and that's atomicannierock.bandcamp.com. And look for us soon. We haven't quite picked a name yet, but we're going to have a domain and we're going to have a website, simply so Grok stops identifying us as the Mid-Michigan female-fronted party band.
Which we certainly are not. Oh, man.
Like, every time you grok one of our posts, Atomic Annie is a Mid-Michigan female-fronted cover band.
Yes, that cover band. We don't do covers.
There are a lot of Atomic Annies out there, is what we're saying.
Yeah, well.
Well, and they've
Unavoidable.
got a website. They've got, even though they're just only in Michigan, they've got their website, and that's enough for
Sure.
bots and crawlers to pick up and
Yep.
spell it backward. Ghost Pepper says.
Korg? You
Oh,
spell it backwards.
I've got a piece of Korg gear.
You
not
say
in
your
rotation right
ABCs
now.
backwards, Ghost Pepper. I'm not Frunk. Living on the wild side. Set the soda on the laptop.
Oh, be careful with that.
All right, fine.
All right, are you ready to get going on this one, Mal?
Let's do this.
All right, we're going to do this second one. This comes from way back in year 2, 8th show of year 2. So that was
Early
that
shit.
was many shows ago.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll see how this one goes.
Here we go.
Oh, that was the second one.
It was indeed.
That's for you, Scarlett.
I see that she says it sounds awesome. I'll
Great.
take it.
Great.
My left arm's trying to fall asleep while I was
Oh,
playing.
no.
Yeah, I've got some impingement in my shoulder joints that I've been resting today to try and get rid of that. So all's well. Just a little stiff from 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
Thank you kindly, Mr. Ghost Pepper, for the $1 in the bucket,
Oh,
man.
yes. Much appreciated.
Indeed. I still haven't forgot. I'm going to build you a guitar, buddy.
Yes, in case you didn't know,
guitar.
Mal is building guitars now. Custom, handmade guitars.
Yep.
If you want one, reach out to him.
Yep.
He's
Right
on
now.
X at Atomic Mal.
Yep. That's it. Atomic Mal.
Is there an underscore in there?
No.
Awesome.
I was glad that wasn't taken. Just Atomic Mal. Yep. Good stuff.
Yeah, check out his channel on or his profile, I guess, his account on X. He's got photos of the progress as he's been building up his workshop, and he's already got some cool woods picked out. He's got some blanks cut.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, go check it out. And if you want a handmade, custom just for you, bespoke guitar.
Bespoke.
That's custom made just for one person is what bespoke means.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I've heard it said before. I thought somebody was just being funny.
No, it's something made just for you.
Okay. Well, I'm doing that for my buddy.
Yeah.
Matt. He wouldn't mind saying his first name. Yeah, building something very close to a Gibson ES 135.
Thank you, Daphne. She posted
Thanks.
Mal's
Yeah, right on.
profile there.
Yeah, I get into a little bit of tiffs here and there on the X, which you all should probably expect at this point. I'm high in the disagreeable category. But outside of the disagreeableness that I post from time to time, you will find lots of guitar stuff and tool stuff, lately anyway, and I'm going to upward trend that type of content.
And we will also be increasing our stream hours because Mal will be streaming a lot of his builds.
Yeah.
And so it won't affect our Thursday nights. This will be the same show every week, just as always, but you'll begin to start seeing more streams from us coming up. We haven't gotten everything fully set up yet. But
It's because I'm making Tavian do the setup, and he's like, wait a few weeks and see if you do it. He didn't actually say that. Anyway, I can't make Tavian do nothing. Just being funny. But, yeah, I definitely want the help with it.
Yeah,
I don't want to run cameras and do tech stuff by my lonesome. It's just boring stuff, It's much better with company. That's the main thing. But, yeah, I've got to punch a hole in the wall to get a bunch of wires through my office into my garage. And my garage is not pretty. It just looks like a big old bunch of tools all over the place, and we'll try and dress it up with some custom borders that are appropriate, and probably get some good lighting in there. Well, in the very near future, been really budgeting on buying tools and such, and one of those is going to have to be better lighting in general. But yeah, we're not going to fancy pants treatment it.
No, it'll be lighting so that you can actually see.
Yeah, I mean, I got plastic shelves in there right now behind me. That's what you're going to see at the moment. So it's just literally just going to be, as you put it the other day, because I was concerned. You're like, nah, man, people are just going to see, an honest-to-goodness guitar workshop.
Yeah.
Or a garage setup workshop. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. I'm like, well, here I is. So that is where I am, and I will move up from there. Anyone have a Bauer 15-inch bandsaw they'd like to send me? I'm missing a bandsaw. I've got a jig for my jigsaw. That's 2 jigs in 1 jig. And it's going to serve as a makeshift bandsaw for the moment, but I'm going to need a proper bandsaw in the near future. Atomic Annie show monies will not be going to that, so this stays for the band. This is just something additional that I do that we're just going to go ahead and run on the channel. Because I'm never going to set up another channel. That's just not my... I tried that for a little bit, and I didn't want to do that. Mm. Well, thanks for a raid there.
Yeah, Johnny Dangerously.
Yep, Johnny Dangerously.
Sweet.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Much appreciated. I hope you guys all enjoy the tunage.
Yeah.
It's all original.
Yep.
We got one more.
One more, and this one is brand new this week.
Yep.
Just started it on what was that? What night did I started playing around with little bits of this on Tuesday, and so yeah, got it a little more of the skeleton built last night, and we're gonna run through it. And I think everything is ready here.
What was that melody again?
It starts on there. That's it. That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
You'll feel the rhythm once we get in there.
I was asking him pre going into it. It's brand new, and we had this.
Yeah.
Tavian wrote this great melody. I learned
kind of came up with
quick.
it as we were noodling just to get a feel for the piece, and
so
quick, memorize it
to the best of my ability. And then I realized right before we were about to go, I don't remember it.
Yeah.
And so,
I had to think about it for a second myself.
Yeah. So. Right.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, just make sure I have that. All right. There we go.
All right, we are going to get going, folks, and we'll come back and talk after we do this last one here. But we hope you like it. It's I'm enjoying this one, so I think we'll probably end up doing it again one of these days.
Yeah, it's cool. Here we go.
And that is it for us tonight, folks. We are done. That was our last tune for the night, but we will be back next week. Same time, same place.
I have a question.
New tunes.
How is it that I nail every transition, not even knowing the tune prior, for rehearsal for an hour, and I can't nail a single one while live? What?
You do a quick warm up and everything sounds great. Then you go live and it's all butterfingers.
Yeah, I definitely butterfingered it. I literally spread about 7 picks on the floor in front of me because I couldn't grab things or hold things. Apparently.
Oh man.
I feel good about the tunes. I just yeah, good times. Thank you very much for coming to the show, everybody.
Yeah, we appreciate it so much. If you like what you heard, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the links with your friends, leave us a comment, let us know where you came from if you're new. And if you want to help us grow and maybe turn this into something full-time, tips are appreciated, man. You can find us at streamlabs.com/atomicanniemusic/tip or any of the platforms or whatever. We've got a subscribe star as well, and we've got atomicannierock.bandcamp.com. So any of those are great. Or you can just go to allmylinks.com/atomic-annie-music. And that's got all our links. So
indeed. I think that's a brand new GIF there, Salty D. Thank you for that. Very cool.
Oh,
Thanks
nice.
for coming to the show.
Yeah. See that now.
All right. I'm tuckered out, y'all.
Yeah. That's it for us, folks. We will see you next week. Have a great weekend. We love you guys. Be sure to hug your family. It's important.
Indeed.
And we'll see you next time.
Good night.